one thing before I hand the spotlight over to you that I was excited about Fisher's Dwarven alphabet that he was creating on the side for our viewers. So Fisher's our wonderful sound and video guy, and you saw him last episode jumping in occasionally, and he the whole time we've been talking, he's been creating a Dwarven alphabet. And so my favorite thing that he created is he created the word for king, and then he created the word for queen, and the word for queen. What, Fisher? What was king again?
Someone who has land.
Okay, so king is someone who has land, and queen was
Someone the Griffins chose to have land.
someone the Griffins chose to have land was queen, and I liked that difference. I don't know, in like this weird archaic Dwarven language. I really enjoyed that. So, and this is all based off of the alphabet that he's like actually creating, which is awesome.
Cool.
Nerd.
Questions about it? So, yeah. Get lost in that.
Yeah. Dinosaur.
Hold on. This is very important.
Oh, that's very like hybrid dinosaur dragon.
Right, thank you. This is
Yeah.
what I'm saying. It's the
This is why you were like.
it's the penguin of
nuzzling
dragons.
it.
Yeah, I love fucking dragons. Please, we've established this.
Yeah.
So yeah, Lens, what is our focus?
All right, so I'm wanting to, not that I want to get away from the dwarves riding griffins thing, because it's amazing. I don't want to exhaust it, but I'm thinking of getting into this and kind of figuring out what the other races are doing during this time.
Yeah.
The alliance is happening between these two.
Can you read it out loud?
Yeah. Elves and dwarves share knowledge and ritual between their races, expanding their understanding of the mycological knowledge base for both people.
Mm-hmm.
So, can you like restate what your lens was, like how?
So my lens was, the focus I chose specifically was the Dwarven clan. I mean, that was
Okay.
like, so in that sense was like the Dwarven clan that connected with the Griffins.
Okay.
So that we,
So
and
that-
so it was all like surrounding, and all of these things are connecting back to that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like general enough for that. So
Okay.
Yeah, I don't want to make any suggestions.
Okay, so it's gonna be, so I can do pretty vague.
You can
All right.
can do a, I think it said like a
like
specific person. You can do a period. You can do a
Just-
theme,
I
an
just
event,
wanna
kind of
kinda-
like a legacy, but it doesn't, you know.
Can it be as vague as like, I just want to figure out what the other races are doing, how they're reacting to this alliance, and just in general how they're reacting to the beginning of this.
So I would say that would be your focus then. Be like
Yeah.
this period,
Yeah.
the other races in this period.
Well, I don't want to.
Well, those other races could be connecting with the dwarves, I imagine, in this. But like you were looking for specifically what other peoples are doing.
I think if you're just doing like in general what other people are doing, that might be a little bit like
too vague.
Like it's not focused enough. Like
Yeah, okay.
I think it'll be too vague. But if you wanted to, like, I'm not trying to do whatever you want, but if you want to pick like a specific race or something,
Yeah.
I think that'd be a little bit more handleable for
Okay,
a round.
I'm thinking humans.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are humans doing?
I want to figure out what humans are doing, but I get to create an event too at the beginning of this.
Yeah, right
You
after
can
this, you
create
create a
two.
period or
Well,
an event.
first you're picking the focus, which it sounds like it's humans.
Yeah.
Humans during specifically right before the Gryffindor Union, or like during the during the time of
During this whole
During the
period, I think.
beginning of this revelation, during the beginning of this Mycelia coming about.
making first contact.
Yes.
Just at the beginning of that.
What that's going to look like for the humans.
For
If it's
humans.
different,
Okay.
like then, yeah.
Yeah.
I would like to figure out how
That
that.
feels like a focus.
But I want my event to be somewhere in this. Like,
You can do that.
Yeah.
okay.
You can.
You can
Yeah.
absolutely do that.
Okay.
I think that's fine. Like, so you're.
As long as it relates to the focus of what the humans were doing during the discovery of the Mycelium, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
somehow this will link back to that.
Okay.
That works for me.
Okay.
So our focus is humans.
Our focus
How they
is,
relate to the mycelium.
is humans and how. Yeah, basically.
Humans and what they're doing
how-
during that period, right?
I guess it can be during that period, but I want to be able to leave it open for positing later events.
Well, and
if-
you
well,
later
if
that
you-
connect back to what's happening.
So if you
Yeah.
say humans and how they relate to the mycelium, that is very much a part of this, but it could be very much a part of pretty much anything. It's just it has to relate to their relationship with the mycelium. Is
Yeah, like Will's was a specific clan of dwarves.
Right.
Yours
Yeah,
can
I don't
be
want it to
humans,
be
mycelium. Like it can be big, right? Like your focus can be as broad or as focused as you'd like it to be, as the lens.
Yeah,
Canon,
it doesn't have to be like
canon. You're the
yeah,
lens.
Extreme
and it doesn't have to be. I don't want
they're
it
focusing on
to
a
be
race.
that like
Just-
that. Yeah, but the race could have different points
Stupid.
of contact.
No,
It doesn't have to
totally.
be. Yeah. Okay, you're on board. All right.
So now,
An event.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, you can create an event, or you can create a period and an event nestled in there if you wanted to.
That's a lot of responsibility.
I know. Well, yeah, it was intense.
Yeah.
This is why, like, I kind of like
Yes,
having
it
the
is.
availability. This is another reason why I like having a little bit of availability to do like a mini scene or something along those lines. Is like when you're doing these
Because
nested
you
ones,
don't want to.
like a clarification of that. But
Mhm.
yeah. This is our first time
Um,
screwing with this, so I like it. We'll see what happens.
Shit. I don't know if I want to. Maybe I'll wait till the end.
Oh, cool.
Maybe I'll wait till the end and see what you all come up with.
I think
No,
you actually
you have to do
you have to
something.
do something.
Oh,
you have to
did
do
you?
one
I think
thing.
you can
Did
do
you?
one or two if you decide.
Oh, maybe you created a period.
Yeah, he did.
He created this period that I circled the E on.
Okay.
I mean, really, it all says is like Lens is allowed to make two nested
I have
things.
the red pen. Do you want
So like, but I think you should do.
Yeah,
at least
I
one,
should,
obviously.
yeah. Okay.
Thank
Humans. I want humans to be really like they've been underdogs like for a long time, and I want them to have like a resurgence in this period. And I'm trying to figure out how to state that. Like, I want them to be really good at this, like vying for these like remaining alliances, like this very scarce.
So you're saying
Connection.
humans are possibly like are humans better at life at this time?
Maybe like humans who have been underdogs in terms of their contact with mycelium. That feels maybe too specific. Become like surge to the front in terms of maintaining the connection with the mycelium.
Oh, okay. So it's not like they were. It's not like they're surging to the front because they're less proficient with mycelium. It's like more like they're more proficient in the context of this climate.
For whatever reason,
For whatever
we can
reason.
fill that in.
Yeah,
like,
I
but
like
at
that.
some point at the end, they've been like either screwing up or they
Not
pissed
as
off the
connected
mycelium
or-
or their connection. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, but I want them to, and they've maybe even almost been like villains or looked down upon. I don't know. That's up to everybody to decide. But I want them to like kind of redeem themselves in this spot.
Okay.
So how would I put that? Humans.
Can I interject something really fast? This is my
Yeah.
when you're done with this, before we move on to the next one. I have a thing to add about our structural logistics, but I like this man. Sorry, I said that to kind of like I'm putting a pin in this. I need to think about a thing. I might forget it.
Do I need to put the underdogs thing? Can I just put humans surge to the
Forefront.
yeah, kind of forefront or like
Because you want them to be like top of the field, right? That kind of idea, like
yeah, I'm thinking like
a
it's a
supremacy
redemptive
elements,
thing.
redemptive. Okay.
Yeah. Surge to the
Perhaps using more
top.
just for wording wise, like maybe back to chosen or something related to that.
I don't know about chosen.
Mm-hmm.
I wish these were editable later.
More
The
proficient.
the competition for human surge at the top of the competition. I don't know if that's the right word. The top. Whoa.
Do you want it to be like the top of
That sounded like a
competition, or
pipe.
do you want it to be more
Like
competition-based?
What
Or
base?
is it like competition based
I'm
that
gonna
you're trying to
high-five
go
you
for,
for
or is it more
that.
like
That's
a feeling thing, like they like respect them more, or is it like they like win them over? I'm just confused. Like,
Kind of like win them over, but I don't know if I want it. I think competition is not.
How about
top
have
of
the favor of?
top of the
I don't know.
yeah, kind of like top of the to the front of the front.
The mycological love.
The front of the race for mycological love. I kind of like that. Front of the race,
Just wants to be proud of me.
for mycological love. For the now scarce.
Do you need a smaller?
No, I'm good.
Thing?
Now
But you're
scarce
Do you want a red Sharpie?
Are you saying that like in the humans' timeline in relationship to the mycelia, this is their time to shine, essentially? Like this is like when it's been working the best, sort of?
Not necessarily.
Just
Like, they could have a good period, but they've done something to like tank it. They've done something to and it could be like one single human that kind of like and I
But
feel
it's
like
best in context to the other.
and
races.
maybe redeem themselves by
Human
sharing their sharing this position like like that they're does this make sense? Okay, I'm gonna go into
So, are you thinking of mycological access as a hierarchy?
at this point, yes.
Okay.
At this point, yes. But what I kind of want them to do is kind of break, like they surge to the front, but they maybe break up that hierarchy. They've been shitty about it. Maybe like I don't know. I shouldn't be positing how that happens in the interim, but
I think it's fine. That's part of selling your idea. Whether we go along with that or not, I think
Yeah.
you can tell us what your vision is, and then we might tweak it.
Okay.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's part of it. That's kind of what they say here. Like, this is how I'm imagining history. Although they do say try to keep your ideas close to the chest because you might want to fuck with things, or people might want to fuck with you. Maybe I don't know.
That's fine. I'm just thinking that they
I'm
react
going to.
really poorly to this, and they start to kind of get like hoardy with it, and like they're like, oh fuck you guys, if you're gonna do this, then we're gonna create our own alliances and
So some racial tension.
yeah, some racial tension.
Yeah.
But and maybe like a lone hero or heroine redeems the or like eases racial tensions by long-standing racial tensions by somehow like they've come to the front of this position, and they like the Mycelium are like, okay, maybe we choose you, but they're like they choose to like share it.
Are you talking about like a Lilyhammer moment?
Kind of, but more like a breaking of this hierarchical structure that's happened. But this like maybe that's too much. Humans surge to the front of
So this is actually where I think my like I want to put a pin in a thing might be relevant to talk about now.
Okay.
So one of their definitions of a scene, I was just reading through this, like in terms of making a play, like because you could make a scene, like dictate a scene as part of your action, or do a played scene, which we're obviously not doing. That's where 5e is living for us. But I like what they say in terms of making the scene is they're like stating a question. So kind of like what I read earlier, like why did the machines stop before they eradicated humanity? But then they're like set the stage, choose characters, blah blah, skip all that. But I think that we could do a scene from the perspective of like a stated question, because it's not creating anything. In fact, if at all, it's a hook to role playing there. And then you can have something along the lines of your event, which is, hey, like the mycelium is connecting in this way, and then have a scene as like a sub question. I was like, does a heroine rise to do such?
So I was thinking about that earlier, like entertaining the idea of like, well, what if scenes could just simply be one question?
Yeah,
right.
It's setting the tone for something.
And I like that.
Because I agree.
But I don't know how other people feel about it.
I kind of like that too, especially to like extrapolate on an event that we like writing for ourselves. If you can just kind of like pose a question about your own event, that can kind of like not just like give other people an idea of how to build off of it, but also it'll, like you said, kind of give us like spots we can like focus in on to play later.
Yeah, I have one request. If we do choose to do this, I have one request, that when one asks that question and poses it as a scene, they don't ask any more questions, and no one goes for the answer. Like
Okay.
we let it. We
So we
purposely
just
let it
write
hang.
a question.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, this isn't like you make an event and then add a question. Like posing a question is your piece of this section right here. Like it's focusing us to or causing us to focus down on an event. Like what I'm contributing is this question, like this scene, right? And that
Okay.
plays out in whatever way we choose to pursue it.
Mhm.
But it's really just a hook that with no end resolution to it.
What do you think?
Yeah, that sounds good. Sorry, I'm moving.
Word.
on to-
No, totally.
Do you have any more?
Are you, Shanna? You good with that?
Yeah, I think so, from what I understand of it.
Basically, like I just been wanting something that like I said, some things that don't live exactly in this event period timeline, but I didn't want to step on our steam toes of being like stuff we might play.
Totally.
But I wanted something that was like a micro moment, but without too much detail. I think
Yeah.
that the question.
Well, I like that we're almost not even doing it as a micro moment, but just as a question.
Mhm.
A question about a potential moment.
Sometime during this couple year period, like, was there an uprising? Was there a thing? Was there a blah? Like, did this?
Yep.
A person comes to power how? I don't know. Like something that maybe question mark.
Oh my god, this is too much.
Do you need another page?
I mean, I'm down to do this.
This is run on sentence. Okay, humans surge to the front of the race for the now scarce mycological love, using their ambition combined with rich emotionality and long suffering to create epic art and redeem themselves. I can take the redeem themselves out. This doesn't make a lot of sense. But it's
I think it
Hey.
makes. I think that's
Yeah,
the point.
makes
We have
sense to
fill
me.
in how it
Alright,
makes sense.
great,
Right?
yeah.
So it's the
Excellent.
dark period, right? Depends on which
it's
race's
not-
I am
perspective.
That's the
incapable
abstract
of making
expression.
an all light or all dark
I think
circle, so
you
I'm
have
like,
to. But
Yeah.
in the games, you have to.
really?
Yeah, no, you have to
You
make.
don't have
Because everything, of course, mixed, but then
I'm
that
gonna
mix
put that
comes
in
out
no.
in the scenes and other
No,
stuff.
like no.
You're,
I'm saying that's what the
you're
game
saying-
spice.
you're
I don't
saying
really
one or the
care.
other say? I didn't know
No, I'm
that.
saying
It has to be
speak
light
your
or
Your
dark.
options
no,
are
just
light
light or
or dark.
dark.
Oh, okay. Well, then I'm going with light.
Yeah, good call.
I'm fine either way because there's going to be nuance regardless.
Sharpie.
I think it depends on. That's like a
Glasses.
perspectional one. Like to the humans, light. To the other races, probably not that
I
light.
think
Who knows?
I think you hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
And I can't remember what you just said.
So I
Right.
But there's
There's
going to be
gonna
nuance
be
regardless.
something- yeah,
whether
exactly.
yeah,
before it gets past to me, I want to give you an opportunity. Do you want to create a scene in the form of a question nestled into that event? Is that something that you'd like to do?
Yes.
Okay. Why don't you
want
write?
to-
Why don't we write the scenes in red?
Good idea. Can
Yeah.
I see that for a second?
Yeah.
Uh,
Fuck this shit. Do you have any
do
more
they
cards or
redeem
Nail them.
themselves?
the extras write some like question or
Yeah. Oh yeah.
scene?
It's one of those like it could be light or dark, but like that's just like a
And then scenes go
that could
other way
that's,
again, right? Or does it
perfect.
matter?
If it's in red, I don't think it matters.
Okay, cool.
My brain's not even on
I always
board.
want scenes on
Oh.
just like little post-it
want-
notes,
does
so
it
it really
matter?
just looks like
You
we're
Probably like
post-it
cut them in
note.
half if
It
you want
doesn't
to do
matter.
scenes.
It don't matter.
Because it's a different. It's a
Losing the-
completely
I
different.
keep
Thinking of a
having
word.
the
So-
word and then I lose the word, and I've done that like 3 times on 3 different about 3 different things.
I keep doing that too.
Alexa, what's the word for that thing?
Yeah.
Read my mind.
Right.
She would, unfortunately, probably.
That's so
Based
creepy.
upon recent search patterns,
It's like
upon
the,
listening
the
to you.
word for an
73% likelihood
irrelevant
that you're looking for
detail.
cornucopia.
Like
Erroneous, erroneous, you too.
kind of. I think it's
What's
not
it
quite
say?
what I was looking for,
Do
but
Humans
essentially
find
it's-
redemption.
we don't have to
cool.
debate
Like
between
redundant.
a filled-in
Yeah.
circle or not, because
Right.
the tone of the event is essentially we're fleshing it out just like with a little bit of a hint of dark, like it's
Yeah.
like
So, I want to talk about.
I was trying
wanna-
so hard not to do that.
I want to talk about
Mycology.
industrialists versus naturalists.
Ooh.
Down here?
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Specifically, I want to hone in on a human that has come from a long line of druids that pride themselves on having a deep, deep connection with the Mycelium. And for a very long time, they had maintained this connection, even through the very, very difficult, perhaps difficult times that humans have had in the past to like maintain that connection. These druids really just like mastered and latched onto it. But you know, like all things, it doesn't last. And so this this separation, or erosion, I should say, begins with an archdruid that called himself Chicken of the Woods.
I love her too.
Why did that make me hungry?
Because
Chicken,
chicken
and a
in the
biscuit.
basket.
Basket.
Chicken and a biscuit.
So,
I was thinking of the
Chicken of the Woods
Let's eat that.
is the current archdruid inside of the very sort of beginning of the magical Cold War, and
Naturalist, obviously.
so yeah.
Okay, just checking.
Yeah, and it was he who declared that, and he was the first archdruid to declare in this entire history that he had ultimate control over the mycelium.
I'm really interested to see where this event falls.
Can you what is ultimate control?
Did he already tell us?
The
a
Cold
very
War
good
one.
question.
That sounds like a great scene,
Mushroom Daddy.
which somebody can add later.
Just
I don't
leave
know.
that open.
Yep.
Like,
The
well, I guess
mushroom
what is?
wars.
I just need a little bit of clarification as to what he's
Adventure.
claiming.
Oh wow, this fire.
Like,
He's claiming
like
that
overall mycelium.
that he, through his connection to the natural surroundings, him being a druid, and to his connection with the mycelium, he declares that he has control over the mycelium. Like it
Like-
is he who tells them what to do, not the other way around. I am
The ones that
mycelium.
he's like in contact with, or just like anything that
Make you a
like
shroom.
all. I guess I'm just
Like a
looking for the
abbreviation.
scope, like of
Shroomhead.
the mycelium that he has contact with, or like whatever, like he's the one in control, not them.
He
Okay.
he says that
Yeah.
he alleges.
Right. Right. Okay.
And I'm
And I'm not
assuming-
pointing out
Allegedly.
anything in particular, but there's also then a period where mycelium's like, go fuck yourself in a minute. Whether they're connected or not, I don't know. But this seems like a really
That sounds leading.
Archdruid,
Just throwing it out there.
Objection.
You just
Well,
don't want to go last.
more
in
like-
line.
Argumentative statement.
More like convenient placement.
Got it.
Archdruid, Chicken of the Woods, declares himself master of all mycelium,
This makes me hungry.
COTW.
seeing himself as the communication hub for all connected beings worldwide.
Oh.
The fucking
and
nanny
you've written
state?
it, so can we not ask any more questions about it?
You can ask questions, but it's right here.
It's written down.
Do people believe him?
That's a very good question.
That's actually a great question.
Like
That's
I'm
the same
wondering
with
if
Create,
he's. I'm
potentially.
wondering if
Put it
he's
in
what's the
So it could be a good scene
stumbler,
potentially if it comes back around.
you know?
Mhm.
He might just be.
Well,
Human, right?
let me just say that folks don't get called Archdruid just willy-nilly.
Ah, right.
And he's human, right?
Very much.
Specify that.
Oh, sorry, yep.
Human druid?
The human Archdruid.
Cool.
Excellent.
I want to caveat since if you go down the scene option of making questions, I want to say that maybe you can ask like 2 questions since we're not like playing out a scene, just to give that that option the same kind of level of power of investigation. Like maybe you can ask 2 questions, not like since we're not playing out scenes, but just like a question of something. So if on Connor's turn or my turn, if you ask it like if you do a scene, maybe you get 2 questions because normally it's like dictating out a scene really clearly or playing it out through here. But since we're just doing like a little hook, maybe you add 2 hooks in that same event. I'm just saying, like, if you come around, if that's what you're using your turn on, if you're
That you
adding a
get
scene,
2 questions.
then you get 2 questions.
Oh.
I could see that because it's small.
It's a narrower version of what like the power of that turn would be, which is like playing out a scene or dictating one. You just ask a couple
The
questions.
only thing I'm nervous about with this whole scene business is
Hit us.
it could get really cluttery out there, and we could just keep asking questions. But what I like about, I mean, I like that they're there. I'm just like, I'm wary because I feel like I like that you have to commit when you write it out. Like you have to commit. We ask all the questions. We ask lots of questions, and then if it comes around to your turn and that question sticks with you, then you make a commitment statement about that question. I like that. And like I feel like I'm nervous that we're gonna get too many scene questions going on where that's like not
I think there could be a limitation, but what I like about this is that it doesn't create a resolution that we have to get to, but it creates a, like, we have to address this and this. Like, we have to answer that question.
Who has
Like,
to address that?
When we go through, I don't know when we're playing, but like we have to, like, we want that to be covered.
So I think the intention behind scenes is we are sort of reinventing is creating them as opportunities to play them out.
They can
And
be,
that's how
they're
we
within
answer
the
them.
role
Yeah.
playing.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I get it now.
And I think
and maybe it comes up months from now,
I'm
right?
glad we
Like
had this talk.
we're doing something in the golden age, and a question comes up that's like, oh, this would have been an answer to that question about this event.
Okay,
or this
especially like
thing, right?
I would like to keep. I would just like to keep it simple and say that if you are creating a scene, one question.
that's what I was gonna
Only
say. too.
because it just creates too much time. Like we have
Yeah.
limited amount of time. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do think they should maybe be a different size, like cut in half or something, just to. But I don't know.
All right,
You
well,
just stack them underneath.
I'll
each
work on
other
that for next
or
week.
something.
I mean, give
Alright, what's up,
me,
Connor?
We do a lot
give me a
with
couple of
stapler.
the cards. I can just make a couple halfsies now. I mean, the blank ones. I'll just make a couple halfsies right now. I can do that while you guys are talking. Multitask.
word.
So with this explanation, like focus of humans and Mycelian, I have a question about this international council.
I'm making you a question card, bro. Fine.
All the
We'll need
questions.
them. We'll need them.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I forgot there was a council. Where'd that count? There it is. First
Yeah.
International Council. Yeah. At this rate, we still have
So
like
excited. Sorry, just like
21 to 25.
process process
Questions
inwards.
are actually
Shanna.
fine.
Yeah, it should be good. Yeah, if not, fuck it, we'll figure it out.
Oh my god. It's
But
exciting
I
don't
because
like
Okay.
there's so many
Cool.
things that are going on in my mind that might not actually manifest in the table, but I'm telling myself some really great stories right now. I might not.
I just love that
actually
you're
do.
having your own mini little
I
like
totally-
nerd orgasms over there.
No, I'm really.
Oh, the possibilities!
I just love this game because I feel like I've written like 5 stories already that will never happen, but I'm really excited.
You
'cause,
should
like,
write
why not
them.
write them down?
my creative juices are
Right.
flowing.
Keep your own notes for character
For me?
ideas, for things down the
Yeah.
line,
Okay.
for shit that you get to tell later. You make a historian that tells some of
Start our
these
own
stories.
publishing
That sounds cool.
That's right. So I really want to know, and this is also making the nation more specific, but why it was that it was the human majority nation that was excluded from this council.
Nice use of a scene. It narrows it down, but it's a question.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
like it.
That is how I like that. That is a good question usage.
Huh.
I like that.
Yeah.
I
'cause
just
it's
learned
kind
a
of
fuck
an
ton
event.
from that.
Yeah.
Right?
Like,
Yeah. See, I'm really happy with scenes now. I'm really, really happy
Yeah,
with
I
scenes
like
now.
it. Oh, I'm so excited for my turn! This is the best game ever!
Or as Christine would say,
Ooh.
Yeah.
So then, maybe a suggestion for a re-clarifying of yours.
Yeah.
Your scene would be something along the lines of like maybe you choose a direction that the redemption happens instead of leaving it like do they find redemption. Maybe you say like why did or didn't they?
Or maybe,
is that too focused?
maybe why, like, add a little bit about why they might need redemption.
In the question form, just
Yeah.
to, like since we're
Mhm.
redefining what a scene is, right? Trying to figure that out. But that's
Right.
yeah.
Have you
It's a
guys ever
question.
played
It was a
like
good question.
That's a really good
Exquisite
question.
Corpse?
Oh yeah.
So it's like that, but like on acid. Like it's like but like storytelling. Like that's what this game is. It's like so cool.
I wrote a period.
So-
Are you
so,
guys ready for it?
we're not because you should finish yours.
Oh, that's okay.
Finish your
It's-
scene first.
It's okay.
No,
It's
no,
pretty much
yeah,
different.
I'm saying
Alright.
that it's not okay only because
I might change it. I'll just write something different.
right. I want there to be like
do humans find redemption for the divisiveness they have engendered in the past? Is that
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
I like that. I like
Yeah,
that
yeah.
wording.
So that it doesn't say something specific. It really implies that some shit happened.
We don't know what shit.
Yeah, but they need redemption from the mycelium for it. That's
Maybe they put these suckers
yeah, and then it
against one
connects back to
another.
there.
And on your last turn, you can put it there.
You can actually remember you can do another event and a nested scene in the last turn or period.
I'm really excited because I can still do my period.
Good. In fact, I mean, you can probably jump in on it now while she's finishing writing this out.
Yeah.
That's all. We got the wording down.
Yeah, totally. I was just trying to go quickly because I know we're on a time crunch. I wasn't trying to jump turns. I'm sorry, guys.
You're really good at that.
We got 20 minutes. We're good. 20
I
minutes.
just I knew where Connor was going, so like, okay, mine's not related. Okay, so I wrote a period, and I think it's gonna go right here. The elves agree to serve the Mycelians' interests in exchange for an extended lifespan. A faction of them disagrees and branches away from elven kind, keeping their shorter lifespans and finding their own path of the Mycelian. These were the first humans.
What? Whoa! Wait.
Because I was about to be like, whoa, where do the humans come in here?
The elves agree to serve the Mycelians' interests in exchange for an extended lifespan. A faction of them disagrees and branches away from elven kind, keeping their shorter lifespans and finding their own path of the Mycelian. These were the first humans.
That.
Whoa!
Especially because
That's
how it
intense.
plays off of this.
My clapping
Yes,
says-
that's what I was
there.
doing.
My clapping says I disagree.
Yeah, because I was like,
That sounds
transition.
Light or dark?
I'm gonna put dark because I'm picturing it like these are kind of like fallen from their race. Like they're wanderers. They don't know where the fuck they're going. Like it's
is
a
there
dark thing.
conflict between these factions then in that?
I don't know. You guys tell me. This is
Well,
the period.
I'm saying you're making that statement with a light and dark assumption.
I'm saying it's dark because they are kind of like cast out of their
Yeah.
race because their race chose something different and
They're
didn't.
like fallen angels in a sense.
Yeah, kind
Yeah.
of. But I don't necessarily know if that is like going to be a continued conflict or if they're just kind of like ostracized from elven like society. Does that
And
make
by
sense?
the
I
way-
don't know if that makes them like fallen angels necessarily.
No, I just
analogy,
meant like
analogy.
Yeah.
just
It
they're
was
just
just
like
an
they're
analogy.
just like
No,
ostracized.
I would call it a dark
Well-
period in the time of elven kind.
Can I ask some questions that maybe can't be answered right now? But why
Yeah.
why did they choose to keep their shorter lifespans? What?
Ooh.
I don't know. Well, I can tell you what I was thinking
Yeah.
if you want. So when I was like thinking that, I was assuming that like, not everybody would want to live forever, right? That's
Is
not
that what
every.
The Mycelium are offering though? They're
That's what
eternal
they're
life?
offering. They're offering an extended like. Well, elves can't. They're not like gonna live. They can die. They can be
Yeah.
killed. But they will live eternally if they're not killed by an outside force. Theoretically,
They
right?
will? Like, I'm just
I don't.
asking if that's
I'm
what's
pretty sure
implied.
elves are like. I don't know.
Not D&D
Listen,
canon,
listen.
but we can fuck with it.
You're certainly inferring that, and that's all that matters.
Okay,
Wait.
yeah,
Yeah.
but I guess my point is that these humans didn't want that. They wanted to be more connected to their surroundings, and they wanted like to experience life a little bit more. And they thought like servitude for an extended life wasn't worth it.
So I guess I'm asking for a distinction between extended life and like eternal life. I feel like
I guess that's something we just need to flesh out together.
Okay.
No, I like that. I mean, maybe something was promised. Maybe it wasn't promised. Maybe there's just a misunderstanding.
Yeah, there's
We don't know yet.
so many things. That's what so that's why that period just got the reaction that it had, is because everybody just saw in a moment the possibilities in it, and
Yeah.
like that nice word.
And I love it being open.
And I also was just trying to tie another race into it, so we don't have like a round for every race, and not necessarily like. I mean, not that everybody can like has to completely focus on elves now, but now you can kind of focus on a little bit of both if you wanted to with your events because they're tied together. I don't know.
Well, yeah, and why were they excluded?
Maybe that's part of the reason. There you go.
I'm at one of those
And,
phases, by the way.
and
where the word
regretting
scene
this
doesn't look-
decision.
In my mind, like
I know
if
it
the
is.
elves and the
It doesn't
dwarves
look
are
correct right
together,
Yeah.
the dwarves probably wouldn't
Damn
like
you,
humans
mind.
if this happened. So that would be kind of
Okay.
like ostracizing them from elves and dwarves. That's kind. I just was like, I don't know. I'm
What
sorry.
you got, Shannon?
Yeah.
Clarifying question. Did we like solidly determine that the demons are from a different plane?
We have not said where the demons are from in like anything specific.
I guess I didn't clarify. Well, we said a portal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
so
Yeah,
Yeah,
they gotta
a-
be coming from somewhere
a
else.
portal has been mentioned, so
Yeah.
But
it implies. Well, it implies pretty heavily that
There's
are they?
are like I'm just wondering if that's like set in stone.
I
Based on the language that's on the table.
You know what? Listen, here's what I'll say: is like if you can find a workaround,
Okay.
do it. But
that's when I'm wondering what I have to work around.
What's the wording?
Well,
Something I'm thinking
so
about.
the portal doesn't have to be where they came from. The portal could be where we put them, or where we
okay,
put
so
them, like,
Queen.
I agree.
I'm gonna
like,
I'm gonna read this. So Queen Lilyhammer's granddaughter, Queen Rosax, endows the first dwarven elven college to research where the demon gate is located to bring an end to the war. So that does imply, to me at least, it implies that the demons are coming from somewhere else, and they're coming through one specific gate.
Or potentially it's where all the demons could be put to end
like
something. Like
I feel like I don't know what you're gonna say, but I know you can find a workaround. I just like have faith
Okay,
that you
Yeah,
can find a
all
workaround.
sizes. There's
Okay,
something called
well,
the Demon Gate, and it
you
ends
know what
the
I
thing.
can do is I can just
That's
put
all we got
something
so far.
out there as an event, and we can decide whether to find a workaround or not
Yeah.
to
Or we
relate
could
the
just
event.
Yeah.
Yeah, and talk. Yeah, I was just about to say talk it out.
Okay, so humans find flight through industry, based on what we just learned about humans.
I think that's a pretty awesome standalone event.
No, yeah,
Yeah.
totally. So you mean like planes and shit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool,
Yeah.
cool.
So how does
might-
that
yeah.
connect back
Cool.
to
And that-
Why are
how
you
does
worried
that
about
connect back to
demons?
humans and Mycelian though? That's my
It,
only
Because the
connects,
focus
it
is-
connects back to their lack of connection.
Because humans only
connect to my lack of. I like it.
we're talking about the human story, and Ashleen just described how humans came to be, and those humans have now taken to the
I
skies
birthed them all.
via industry
You're welcome. Humankind.
and like industry and like
So, like, would that end up in the
That would be-
magical golden age?
that would be right here.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
So they're not
That-
at the golden age yet.
Yeah.
But the you're
So
saying.
you're kind of branching them away from the mycelium, like entirely. Is that kind of what you're going?
I
Like
don't
a
know.
more like tech, like
But I feel
I'm just
that-
saying
well-
we've got humans in the skies, and that could potentially relate to other circumstances that happen soon after.
What can I ask? Why you were worried about where the the demon gate? Why you were worried about that in relation to this?
Because of potential storytelling and like who are the demons?
So the
oh shit.
the demons were never defined.
The demons,
the
are
demons
the humans.
have not been defined. It could be a way that I don't know. I don't know if I'm breaking rules by
Are the demons
reaching.
mentioned in that first period at all?
No. Not even
Interesting.
a little bit. They're technically not mentioned
Oh.
until after.
Come on,
Because-
we all know the demons are halflings. Come
but
on.
as a
Oh,
group,
shit.
but
No,
as a group, I
they
don't know. I'm
are-
just like interested because
They are mentioned in that first.
Yeah.
Oh.
The Mycelia have agenda to rid skies of evil plague of demons and bring together griffins and dwarfs.
So use that as an origin story. So they do exist prior to that point.
But
And
it
this
could
could be a
also-
part of that too.
But what I like but it still stands because like even as a workaround because it's like as a group we've talked about like what do we want in our story, like what kind of stories we want to tell.
Well,
And-
you want to put humans in the sky, right?
Yeah.
So do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're just
Yeah.
gonna find a way to
Yeah.
make it like in that event connect or disconnect from the Mycelia. So
Or
for the
we could do
focus,
whatever we
but-
want. I like what I'm hearing. Just put humans in the sky. We'll see what happens. Right?
Yeah,
Humans-
and the connection
Humans
to
take to the sky.
the
How
industry
is-
side.
Yeah.
And it's interesting, like this, that they.
I
are-
do like through industry. Like,
Yeah.
which
I'm
is
like,
a
I want to
distinct
keep
lack of
talking, but I'm like
mycelium.
worried I'm
yeah,
gonna taint
because I
some
think
shit.
we kind of
But industry can
defined.
still be, you know,
Can you put
powered
that
by
in?
mycelium. That could be part of the game later too.
And
like taken,
Well,
like
let that
maybe like.
be. I mean, that's like the thing is this is hard to make it like a darker light event because it's definitely a light event for humans. But
So,
we don't know how everybody else
But
feels
because
about
that's the focus, then I say that's appropriate to be a light event.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
why I put my
Okay,
dark because it's
cool.
human perspective.
it. Yeah.
Quick point of rules. Should we be making our scene questions light or dark, or
No, so there's in this there is no question of the scene being light or dark.
Yeah.
okay? Cool.
Because the idea was you sort of flesh that out through the scene itself is what I'm getting.
Yeah.
So if actually I'll read out what they say for making a scene and playing a scene because it helped me guide my excitement for this. But so the making a played scene is step 1, state the question. Step 2, set the stage. What do we already know from history? Where the scene physically taking place? What's going on? And we're sort of leaving that alone for now. But
Yeah.
people choose characters, and there's an order for that, and people reveal thoughts about the scene. We do that. Then there's playing a scene, which is you already move towards answering the question of the scene, but people do role-playing process of it, right?
Yep.
What do people do and think? You use this to describe the world while you're doing it. And so that's where I like this as a lead through. But I think that idea of like setting the stage, stating the question,
Yeah.
that answers that kind of question.
Okay, we have 10 minutes till 10.
Cool. That sounds good.
Will.
All right, so it's me, back to you, then we do the legacy stuff. We do that in like 10-ish minutes. Ish.
Without distractions. Nobody
Speak
can
for
see.
yourself, and I'm a slowpoke.
We're gonna go Ashleen style.
Yeah.
Write it down, throw it
Start
on the
writing
table.
right now.
Let's just
people.
blow everybody's minds over and over and over again.
Boom.
We
Drop
don't
a
have to
bomb.
talk about it.
I kind of feel like this round has gone faster because we are doing that.
Kinda know what
Like,
we're doing,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
like okay, I've got my idea. I can tell you how it fits.
Yeah,
It's on the table.
literally.
This is incredible.
This is really intriguing.
I think this is a new level as just someone who's just been playing RPGs for so long. This is a new level of awe.
And
Look at what our brains are doing.
This is what happens
we're
when 6
writing an
nerds
entire
come
series
together.
of novels.
I'm glad I waited to really delve.
Right?
I like this. Yes, I'm standing up because I'm excited about this. Let me also to encompass the world, right, and see the things.
Switch pens if you're gonna write an event.
No, I know.
Yeah, I think he's not
I have
sure.
both out just in case.
Okay.
I'm not committing to a pen yet. Just in case, though. Toss me your pen.
That's how I felt playing D&D, like a campaign run by Bell. Like I was like, oh, I can never play like not at this level because it's like, I mean, he brought like music and like action and voices and made it so fun.
Yeah.
Great visual aids.
Yeah, I was like, how do you do this without these things? Like just spoiled.
Well,
And we do this.
with doing it like we're doing it now, we won't have music. But the good news is that John Dahl, aka Fiery Cleric, will be creating music for
Yeah,
the show.
to edit.
Yeah, it's gonna be great.
Yeah, it's
Can
gonna
we
be
all
awesome.
create music for it?
If
I want
you're
it to be
capable,
really,
yeah,
like, swampy and
absolutely.
mushroomy sounding.
I didn't know you were.
That's even a
yeah,
thing.
Didn't know that.
You
Oh
know?
yeah, duh. No, I did. Okay, got it. Yeah.
I'm also learning the guitar right now, so
Yeah.
I can do our outro.
So playing off of the Humans
Everyone.
Take the Skies via industry, I am, and what I've done before actually, in the next period here, just after this event, so with the decrease of dwarves and griffins in the sky, that leads to an increase of human domination of the sky with through their industry, which is further so flight becomes more common, and obvious use of industry becomes more common, further detaching humans from magic as a source of these things, like further detaching them from the mycelium.
Got it.
Cool.
Yeah.
I like
And
it.
also leading
Yeah.
into magical age.
Oh my goodness.
Segueing right into like now it's like technology and industry and fucking Ayn Rand's wet dream but with magic.
Yeah.
Which,
Like you don't have magic, so this is your worker.
so that's what
We
I'm
all
doing.
need
My
to
friend
have
Jason
that
Heinrich
kind
at
of
that
thing.
comment probably just winced when he saw that. He was like, he hates
You
it.
should.
Yeah.
I can't
should
believe
talk
it.
about
But she's
that game.
interesting to see interviewed. Like the only time I'm ever like can buy her vision is when she's like it's coming out of her face. I still don't buy it, but it's like, oh, I kind of get why people are into you. You're still fucking horrible.
Yeah.
I tried to read Atlas Shrugged and I was like, this is garbage.
Be thinking about yours.
Oh well, okay.
I'm done with the so
Can we
think
just?
about-
I was hoping I would like be saved by the bell.
No, there's no bell.
There is a bell.
Yeah, well,
There's
hey,
a bell.
Yeah, keep going. It's on you.
Here, hold this.
I'm writing this. I'm done.
We believe in you.
Okay, I'm gonna stand up and look at some stuff.
I know. Right now, there's a lot to look at.
Remember your focus.
It's all my mind palace.
Well, we got.
Is
Oh
it?
my god.
Do you have a whiteboard in there?
Yeah, I do. It's just like
Awesome.
organizing events.
Yeah.
Mm.
Give a what is it? In Fight Club, his animal was like a penguin or something like that. And
Yeah.
they, like, it was like he was like
Oh.
coached to like see
Yeah.
himself. as
Your
the
mind
animal.
cave or your ice cave.
Yeah.
Go to your
Yeah.
cave.
I was thinking more like
Okay.
Sherlock Holmesy, you know, where
Homie,
just, like,
Sherlock
all the-
Homie.
Sherlock
Sherlock
Holmes,
Holmes, what
all the
up?
information just in there.
Memory palaces are like an insanely good way of remembering a lot of info. Like,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
I don't actually have one, just so everybody
Yeah.
knows. That was just a joke.
it was. I mean, it was definitely
Yet.
more a Renaissance Enlightenment age thing.
I think mine is
Think-
more akin to like Squirrel's Big Dead Crab.
I
Like stuffing information under it and being like,
Someone
remember
pops out
something
occasionally as we
somewhere.
walk in.
Who's Squirrel?
I don't know. Who is Squirrel?
Homie,
Squirrel.
tell,
I
tell
know.
the family.
Squirrel was the last character, the character that I played during my last campaign with this crew.
Cool.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, Squirrel was fun.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
And Squirrel was a part of you for a while.
Yeah, well, because Terrence and Squirrel got really close, especially when they went on drug-fueled party
We
rage.
did.
Magnamar.
We traded unders.
They were, yeah.
She got
underwear.
cray.
It's like so casually
Yeah.
like said, we trade unders.
We
Yeah.
did. It was that kind of party.
Hell
There,
yeah.
there were some pit fights and tattoos involved.
Mm-hmm.
It,
Got real close.
like, you guys totally, like, Shannon and I had this whole thing role played out.
Yeah.
And you guys were sort of, like, paying attention to other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
A dwarven griffin. As dwarven/griffin flight decreases, human dominance of the sky increases. This leads to a further detachment of humans from the Mycelian.
Dark or light?
Oh yeah, dark as fuck.
I got it.
Get it.
Really, you just made it a void.
Fill that hole with darkness.
DAF.
Can I ask a question? Is detachment because detachment implies that there was a previous attachment and
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
ow,
With humans and stuff, at least.
there but I thought they
I
kind
mean,
of
we haven't talked about a particular attachment yet, have we?
Well, I realistically said their own path with the Mycelian, and not all humans necessarily have to be building fucking sky ships and
Yeah.
industry. Like,
but
And, well, we also
especially if
haven't...
there's like druids that are humans like later in the future. Like, I
Mhm.
doubt druids can't even touch metal shields. I doubt there's like druids building fucking
Sky planes and
sky
shit.
planes and
And-
shit. You know
and
what I
right,
mean? Like,
this certainly implies something, but does not define it. And whether we choose to define it or not, or pursue it as something that's really intriguing.
And we haven't defined how industry relates to the mycelium. Like, what if they're actually using it as, like, fossil fuel to fuel their planes?
that's kind of I'm thinking like what if they like their relationship
Leading.
is them taking no I was thinking this already but like what if they
Nice call out.
humans choose to not enslave but like use like mycelium as fodder to like enslave it like they do in
Like, for their own ends
like
type thing.
elementals like powering ships and
Mhm.
stuff like it's like captured or taken or harvested it's not treated with respect it's like
Mhm.
That sounds like a great potential period event or scene to explore.
yeah are there no more events
No,
We
there should be in there.
we also
There-
don't yet know how like mycelium works.
Yeah.
There definitely should
I
be.
think you can write it down on the top of the
There's-
paper.
We may have exhausted them. In that case,
Grab
Okay.
a blankie.
or wait,
yeah it's fine
Blanky.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to
I'm
think
so
of what
tired.
like
That made me
humans
really
use besides
tired.
the industry.
Banky,
I just want a chicken and a biscuit
And,
and a
blank.
banky.
a blankie. There you go.
Ugh.
Okay.
Humans. How do I? It's not like enslave, but humans choose.
Exploit.
Humans choose to enter a non-consensual, exploitive relationship or take it.
I don't think you should call it a Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
no.
Ashley's got the floor.
I actually don't like that word, so I would like ask it in the question form.
You're not allowed to ask for suggestions either. So yeah, ask in question form. There you go.
I don't know how to ask it as a question. I just really, I don't. Does
Is
No,
it
'cause
a
I'm-
relationship?
yeah? Is it a
Is
relationship?
it? It's not a yeah.
'Cause-
Yeah. It's,
yeah.
Don't judge your tones.
Well, so...
choose to not see the mycelium as an entity. They choose to see it. They refuse to recognize its autonomy.
Damn,
Um,
that's real dark.
So tell that as
I'm like,
so tell that as an event.
We've done
Yeah.
it throughout history.
Or
I know.
is this an event?
Oh, cool. So so choosing a legacy. Player to the right of the current lens pick something that happens. So you choose another legacy. Like I will this round. But then after that, separately, it's explore a legacy. Same player creates an event or dictated scene that relates to one of the legacies.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I could choose. So I'm gonna create a new legacy.
But then you
But then I
can
can choose to
piggyback off
explore
of that
my
Shanna's.
own, or I can add something to Shanna's in this
Yes.
case. Like.
Yep.
Like
Yeah,
like
one
a
of.
detail of the legacy itself.
It's an event or a scene.
Oh, okay, got it.
interacting with / treating with the mycelium becomes verboten for humans who instead engage with it in dehumanizing, otherizing, oppressive behavior that eventually results in them. I don't want to say enslaving it because it's almost worse than they like use it as like burn it as fuel. Like, so how do I put that?
They burn it as fuel.
Use it as fuel, but could also like, I don't know. I'm just gonna put enslave / use as fodder and fuel. Because it's like,
Exploit to their
yeah, which results in them
Yeah,
exploiting-
exploitation.
exploit it
Yeah.
to their
yeah.
own means. Like,
Yeah.
or
I like the specificity that you had with burn it as fuel, though.
Exploiting.
I mean, that really ties in with planes, but
Yeah.
But I don't want to limit it to that. If that makes sense.
But you haven't defined how. So, saying that they burn it as fuel is only defining that it's fuel, not how they're using it.
But I want them to be able to use it in what like.
Just because they burn it as fuel doesn't mean they're not doing other things with it.
Yeah, I mean,
You
so
can say they're burning it as fuel, but yeah, it's not limiting.
we burn
That's what
oil
I'm
as fuel, but we also use oil to make plastic.
You could also use the word use too, like use it
Yeah.
as fuel.
And I'm just gonna say. Use it in whatever way they deem necessary. I don't know, like exploit, which results in them exploiting, enslaving, and using it in whatever way.
Or many ways.
Okay.
to their own ends,
To their own ends, using.
makes it more selfish.
Okay.
Cool.
Without their consent. Okay. I'm gonna rewrite this, but yeah.
I mean, exploitation kind of implies with
Implies
that, 'cause
with
that,
that.
Where's this going?
It's gonna go right above the humans take to this guy with it. Yeah.
Awesome.
Should I rewrite it?
No, and if it's okay with you, I might go through and like actually rewrite a lot of the ones that are very like crossed out and that kind of thing,
Yeah.
so that it just kind of
Is it
clarifies
a light or
things.
dark event for humans?
It's a dark event.
It's dark for humans?
It's it's dark. 'Cause
So
dark for their
dark.
souls.
Okay.
Ooh,
So, could you read that one more time? Tree.
enter.
I was like,
Let
let
her
me
do
do
it.
it. I think I'll even need to rewrite it for you to be able to rewrite it.
I think I got it.
Interacting / treating with mycelium becomes verboten for humans who instead engage in dehumanizing, otherizing, and generally oppressive behavior towards it, meaning the mycelium, that eventually results in its exploitation, enslavement, and basic usage for humans' ends. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Okay, I can definitely I'm taking a picture of that because I'm going to rewrite it.
Cool. Yeah. What you got, Will?
So, the sort of legacy I saw, and I'm extrapolating a little bit, so let me know whether this is okay or not.
Would you mind sitting down?
Yeah, sure. But I'm just trying to see everything, so I'm trying to read while I'm putting down. We're getting to a huge thing. Is the humans' disdain for the elves' service to the mycelium. Sort of a connection there in that period, like that you were writing, in terms of like that branching, right? And disdain is maybe like a stronger word than I necessarily want, but that disagreement, right? Like that fosters a little level of disdain at least, right? And I see that as kind of a connection, which also I think leads into your scene. Is that a scene or an event?
Oh, I put scene. Sorry.
That's fine.
Oh, I wrote scene.
Okay.
But like that event, right, which is sort of like a further disdain and use and abuse, right, leads to that. So I see that as sort of a theme that is going to carry through all of this. That maybe or not, but that's kind of how I'm seeing that connection, right? At least that moment that I want as a theme that's going to move through history.
Yeah.
And what I'm seeing with that is a scene.
Can I nest a? Was I able to nest a scene in that if I wanted to?
Yeah, absolutely.
I just want to ask.
I'll pause. You work on.
Yeah, let me really
work on
quick.
that.
Are there
'Cause I need to
some
word mine in my head.
humans opposed to this treatment of the mycelium? That's all I want to do.
Nice.
Can I see your Sharpie?
Your peas are crazy, girl.
I had a wart on my finger when I was a kid, and it made me for years, and it made me write.
It makes me think that you're the Riddler from DC Comics.
Okay. This treatment of the mycos.
The mycos?
I don't know.
That's derogatory.
Well, I mean, we're in the human section, so
Yeah.
why not?
Ooh, I
Why
like
not
I
have
like
a-
the idea of
yeah.
that. Like when we're looking through different ones, is like we can get fun with language.
Yeah.
Mm. This is so
The
fucking
myco
crazy.
cunts. I'm sorry.
This is so great.
You guys don't know how happy I was that nobody wrote a period before it got to me because I so badly wanted to, but I was like, I'm like fifth or something, like it's not gonna happen.
Well, and there's still 4 more rounds of this to go.
I know. I just specifically wanted to write a period for the humans.
Yeah.
Can only one period be written each round?
Nope.
No,
No,
anybody can
anybody
write
can
a
write a period. Or
We
a
could
time
conceivably write all periods
Yeah.
if we wanted to.
It's interesting
Or we
what
just
you.
do
So I hope you guys
Gravitate
like the
No, like,
Oh, everybody. Yeah.
the lot of branchings that can come off of this. Are the human extremists brought to justice? Living in the terrorist sycophants set off a bomb in the Great
Implying that,
Mycolog.
yeah.
Of course, it's the humans.
Well, I'm seeing that as connecting back to the disdain here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's saying, well,
Yeah.
who's justice? It's certainly labeling the human extremists, but it's not saying that there's not more parts happening. Like, I think
Right.
it's a question that's connecting into it. It's certainly labeling a couple things, and it's linking back to some themes we have. Is disdain? Damn
It's a
it.
D. It's okay though.
My bad.
Well, and
Just put the
also,
dealer.
like, it's asking that question without saying who their sycophants for.
Mhm.
Like,
Absolutely. And I'm also seeing a connection here to, like, well, human divisiveness, right? Like, maybe
Yeah.
this is one of the many things that they have to look for redemption for.
it's the goddamn Catholic Church.
And it's pissing off the fucking
Yeah.
mushrooms. And, like, I'm just saying, like, I think there's a lot of, like,
Sorry.
web
Yeah.
that we're building here
They're
that's
gonna
interesting
start spanking
connections.
their kids.
Yeah. And this is so what comes next? Is there another?
10%.
Then it is, you already did yours in a nest, and then it passes on to the next person and
Yeah, so we
starts
end
a
the
new
round.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we pass the lens to me, and that's where we conclude the evening.
That was pretty fucking great, guys.
Mm.
Yeah.
Thank
This-
you.
that
God,
was
that
great
was
audio, by
getting
the way.
delightful.
More and more exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we've
Yeah.
got 3, I mean, we've only done half of this piece.
No,
got
we've
3
only
more.
done a third.
Well, no, there's 3 of you. 3
And
of
we
you.
don't even know what Fisher has to say.
Bill has to go too.
Yeah.
So it's 4. Bill has to.
Oh, that's right. You haven't even started yet. You have holding the thing. That's right. You're only on
Right.
the third. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Math. I looked at him as included. Like we just finished him.
Yeah. Nope.
Oh wait, you have to think about seating next time.
We should probably
well, we
just
know
sit.
too.
Yeah.
Well, now we're
Well, I guess
breaking our
us 3.
rule.
If us 3 move, well, you can't move. If me and Connor
We
move,
just
it
have to
doesn't matter.
remember Bill, Connor, and Shin-Chan.
Yeah.
No.
So, thank you all for
I
watching.
totally skipped myself.
Follow us on the Twitters. Follow us on the Instagram. Follow us on Patreon. A very special thanks to Fisher Newman, who was our audio and video guy for the day, and then Matt Dalrymple, who was our editor. And just thank you so much for watching. See you later.